Garrick DeMeyer from Royal Constrictor Designs. I just wanted to show you a few things that I got going on here with the ball pythons right now. It is May 2014. We're right in the heart of the egg laying season with our ball pythons. We start breeding them in usually in late November. We'll start introducing the males to the females, and we'll breed them into early summer. Different females develop follicles at different times of the year, so we want to give the females as many opportunities to be bred by a male as possible. So I wanted to show you a few different steps of the early part of the season. And one is right here. This is the breeding. I have a bamboo male breeding a special female. Bamboo is a really new gene. Just became available in the United States about a year ago. Should be really cool. It's a blue-eyed leucistic complex animal, so the super is a white snake, and so it's kind of unpredictable how that'll interact with the special, because specials with Mojaves make crystals, specials with lessers make lesser crystals. You know, it'll be really interesting to see how those two genes interact together. So definitely very excited about that one. Okay, then the next thing I wanted to show you here. Now, once the females are bred numerous times, it usually takes a few months for them to build follicles. You want to breed the female to a male, I'd say at least once a month, to ensure that her follicles keep growing. The first early breedings, like in November and December, are usually to just get the follicles to start growing a little bit bigger. The later breedings are the ones that normally fertilize the clutch. So I'm trying to breed that bamboo to that special. I'll probably breed them together 4 or 5 more times over the next couple months until she shows signs of being obviously gravid, or if I've seen ovulation. And ovulation is basically the ball python looks like it swallowed a football. It'll swell up in the mid-body really significantly for about 24 to 48 hours. At that point, the eggs are either fertilized or they're not. Any breeding after that is going to be for nothing. So you want to get them bred before they ovulate. This is a het albino female, and she's showing a classic pre-lay condition. Now, I use aspen bedding in these cages. She's cratered this out. I didn't do this. She cratered this out, and you can tell by just how thick her body is that she's probably pretty loaded down with eggs. She's cratering down in there to get as close to the heat source as possible. When I push this drawer in, she's right up against the heat source, which is on the bottom of each level. Okay, now the next thing I've got here is I have a female that laid a clutch. She's showing a nice classic beehive type of pose there, and you can see the eggs in there. She's completely encompassing those eggs. So I'm going to show you now how I remove the eggs from her. I artificially incubate all my eggs. So I basically just go in like this, and they defend their eggs, so some of them are real snappy and tend to bite. Some of them do not. Okay, now, well, these eggs are kind of falling apart here. This is an infertile egg, or a slug, that can just be tossed in the garbage. There's nothing that's ever going to come out of that. These other eggs here aren't really stuck together real well. Most of the time, eggs are glued together pretty well, if they've been in there for a couple of hours. They're pretty well glued together. Now, if they are, I'll usually put them in a container like this. These are the 2 different types of incubation containers I use. It's actually the same type of container. With this one, if all the eggs are stuck together, so they'll sit in a nice pile, what I do is I only put about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of coarse grade vermiculite in here, and I hose it down and just drench it. This vermiculite in here is just soggy. So then I put this on top, and if I was going to incubate this clutch in this container, I would just take the eggs and set them right on top here. That way, they're surrounded by a lot of moisture, and they aren't touching the moisture directly. I only drill, I take a 1/16 inch drill bit and drill a couple holes in the side just to give them a little bit of ventilation, but otherwise no more ventilation than that. And then I put the container on top. The container doesn't, the lid doesn't have any holes in it. And I put that in my incubator at 89 degrees, anywhere between 88 and 90 is fine, and they'll hatch in about 58 days. Now, because this one egg isn't attached, if I put it on this light diffuser here, it may roll around, and you don't want to ever change the orientation of the egg. So the top of the egg has to stay the top of the egg, because the embryos in the egg are in a fixed position, and you don't want them to roll and have the yolk end up crushing the embryo. So in cases like this, I'll actually use another container here with a little bit more vermiculite. I've got about an inch. Usually I do about 2 inches in here. I didn't put as much in here as I usually do. This vermiculite I also added water to, but I only have enough in here so that if I squeeze a handful of it, it packs together. It doesn't really, I mean, it feels moist, but not wet, and not like in that container. So then with this, I can just set the eggs right on top like this, just maybe nestle them in there just a little bit, and put that one right in there. And then I cover that up. This one's the same thing, just a couple tiny air holes in the side. I'd say like one in each side would be great for ventilation for them. And put them in my incubator. Because I don't have much ventilation in here, there's usually no need to check for moisture or check to make sure I don't have to add water. Shouldn't have to add water to this. The lid fits pretty tight, so very little air movement, so that means very little moisture leaving. And I'll put those in the incubator and incubate them at 89 degrees, and like I said, in about 58 days the babies will hatch. So anyway, I just wanted to go through and show you a couple of the things, the process of producing ball pythons. As we start hatching some babies this summer, I'll have a lot of egg cutting videos. I like to make those. It's like Christmas time when I get to check the eggs to see what's in there. So I'll be sure to show a lot of videos when we're hatching about a bunch of new stuff this year. So in the meantime, you can keep up with what we're doing on our Facebook page. Just do a search for RoyalConstrictorDesigns.com. Otherwise, just keep an eye on our website, RoyalConstrictorDesigns.com. And we'll be hopefully doing some more YouTube videos very soon. Thanks very much.